Okay, hi guys, this is Angie with Beauties and the Bigfoot, and it is June 22nd, 2025. And usually I do my Bigfoot walks on Sundays, but I had some interesting activity that happened within the past week. And the first one was on my route. I'm a mail carrier, and there's a house that is vacant, and I have seen several signs of our forest friends and their activities at this house. And one was a flag was ripped and it was knotted. The other one was two arches were put over this driveway. The first arch was put over there and then the owner cut it down. And then the second arch was put over and it's been there for I think like a couple months. But at the top of this arch, there's like an asterisk up there and it's interwoven and it's a pretty good size and it's up at the top of this arch. So there's no way that Mother Nature could have put that there and interwove it like that. It was purposely placed up there. So I go next door to this particular house, and mind you, these houses are surrounded by hundreds of acres of woods, hundreds. So I go up to deliver some packages. I deliver the packages at the garage and the woods are right there, and I hear knock, knock, knock. So there were three, and I don't know why they do 3 knocks. Maybe it's just easier for them to do 3 bam, bam, bam rather than bam, bam. But it always seems to come in 3s for me. And do I think that that has anything to do with a satanic thing? Do I attribute those 3 tree knocks to being satanic? No, not at all. I think it's just easier for them to do that. So that's what they do. And it was relatively close to me. It wasn't too far away. And before I had taken the packages up, I had to go past that particular patch of woods. And I'm always looking. I'm always looking in the woods because you never know what you're going to see. I didn't see anything. And I looked after I heard the knocks and I still didn't see anything. But it's, everything is green and it's grown in and it's filling out and everything, so it's hard to see anything anyway. But so that was, I just said hello, I shouted thank you, and nice to meet you, even though I've never been given a name for this particular Bigfoot, but I have had mine speak with one of the males. I think there's a little girl that is in that family too. So that was interesting because that was the first wood knock that I've gotten from them in the past. What has it been? 3 years? 4 years? I don't know. So that was kind of cool. It does take a little bit of time for some of them to get used to you and have a relationship with you where they can give you physical things. I get a lot of vocalizations now around my house, and it's always usually like at 1:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning if I wake up and I have to go to the bathroom. Like a couple weeks ago, I've never heard this noise in my life. I woke up and in my driveway, my bedroom faces part of my driveway where my detached garages are, and I heard beep, 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 beep. I can't even do it as quick as they were doing it, and it was just beep, 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 and it was loud, and I was like, what in the heck is that? I think it was just one of the juveniles just making a noise, just for no reason. You know how babies will make noises for no reason. I think they were just stretching their vocal cords or trying to see if they could do it, or who knows. But that was pretty interesting, and it did sound like a younger one. So I enjoyed that, and I thought about it, and I thought, why now am I getting these vocalizations? And then it occurred to me, I don't set recorders out. So that's probably why they feel safe to vocalize around me, because I don't record them. So that's the only thing that I can think of, and it's not consistent, but it does and is happening more and more, and that's the only reason that I can think of that they would do that. But they, and it makes me wonder, what are they doing when we're sleeping? They're just roaming around doing whatever, which brings me to my next encounter that I had, and that was last night up at my lake house. Now, this particular family is known to my Bigfoot family, Jabi and Olaf, and there's a little one whose name is Miles, and he is Olaf's friend. That's all I know of this family. So about a month ago, they started to put a pool in. There's like a big circle, and there's a big, huge area in between, and it's treed, and that's where they're gonna put the pool. So they were digging, and they had the big equipment in there so that they could dig. And about 1:30, I woke up and I heard hands, not an object. It wasn't a wood or metal on metal sound. It was a hand sound on this equipment. And again, it was bang, bang, bang. And it was way too loud for a human to have made it. There was some strength behind this. So I thought, man, we're sleeping and these guys are just roaming around and we don't know. They're just roaming around and we don't know. Because do they come into urban areas? Yeah, they come into urban areas. They, there's places all over up at my, it's a community. And there's man-made lakes in there and stuff, and they're just roaming. They're just roaming. And the first experience I had up there was one of my family left a Y stick, and it was woven into my neighbor's fence. This stick was not there when I went to bed. And this was the first time that my Bigfoot family came up to the lake house. And I smelled them, and I can't remember if I got a house bang that night or not. But I smelled them, and it came through my bedroom. You could smell them from the outside, so I knew that they were there. And then when I woke up, this Y stick was interwoven into this fence, and you can go to the community page and you can see a picture. It's way back when of this stick that was woven in there. So, and then we had the banging on the equipment, which I thought, well, it's just what they do. They just bang on stuff. So then last night I woke up and it was windy, and I have wind chimes, and my neighbor to the right of me has wind chimes. So I woke up and it was really, really windy, and the wind chimes were going and you could hear them. So I just laid there for a little bit, and I was kind of listening, and it was like 2:20 or something like that. So I was just laying there listening, and then I heard wind chimes outside of my front bedroom window. And I was like, oh, I don't have wind chimes over there. And they were really loud. And it was like a pattern. So then this wind chime noise, I listened to the same pattern repeated over and over and over again, and it went down the street. You could hear, like, it was really close, and then all of a sudden it went farther away. And then all of a sudden it came back again. But it didn't play as it was coming back. So I'm laying there and I'm like, what are they doing? What is happening? So I just laid there and listened, and I thought, it's gotta be the wind. And then I listened, and the pattern repeated over and over and over again. So I laid there and I listened for about 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, either they're walking around with wind chimes that they took from somewhere, or they're over there playing with my wind chime, which is over on the right side of the house, or they're making this noise, because they're imitators. So they're making this noise with their throat and their mouth. So I don't know which one it is, but that was very interesting because of the pattern. It was like a little intro to a song, and I wish I could remember. And as I was laying there, I looked over at my phone and I thought, I should be recording this because I'm never going to remember how this song goes. And then I said to myself, no, this is why you have so much activity, because you don't record. You don't put your recorders out to capture vocalizations. Just leave them do what they're doing. So I just lay there for a little bit and listened, and I can't remember if it stopped or if I fell back asleep. But I was laying there with my eyes open, and I thought, that's amazing. And then right now I just remembered a story that I had heard on one of the witness encounter stories, and I just remembered this, where this guy said he had a metal drum or tank or something out in his woods, and he said that at night, starting about 10 o'clock, there would be a song that would be played, you know, by banging on this thing, but he said it was being hit with sticks. You could hear it being hit with sticks, and it was a definite beat, and the beat was repeated over and over and over again. So now that I'm thinking about that, that's interesting, because why wouldn't they? They love music. And I don't recall if I've ever heard this beat before that they were doing last night on the wind chime. But that would be interesting if I heard it again, and I wonder if I would even recognize it, you know? So that, I wasn't expecting that. And when it first started happening, I thought, okay, that's just the wind blowing. But then as it kept repeating, I'm like, well, that's impossible, because the wind doesn't blow the same all the time to cause that to repeat that pattern. Wind blows different each time that it blows. It doesn't blow in the same way at the same speed. So that I talked myself out of the fact that it could have been the wind, because the other thing was, when I was hearing this big wind chime, I could hear other wind chimes in the background, and they were just chiming normal. You know, they weren't loud, they weren't in a pattern, they were just wind chiming normal. So I thought that was interesting. So I wanted to give you guys an update and tell you about the activity that I've had been going on, and I feel like there is one more thing, but I can't remember what it was, and I've got to go write this down in my journal so I remember. As long as I have it in the month of June 2025, I should be okay. That way I can have, you know, the documentation of everything. And I think that's about it. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you that have subscribed to my channel and are watching my videos and liking my videos and commenting on my videos. I appreciate you guys so much, and if you guys have stories you'd like to share, send them to beautiesandthebigfoot@outlook.com. And also, if you guys have stickers you would like to send me, you can send them to Beauties and the Bigfoot, P.O. Box 477, Washington, Michigan 48094. And I'll be glad, or if you just want to drop a note, that would be great too. I love getting mail. All right, you guys have a great rest of your Sunday and happy summer. I'm thrilled the weather's here. I love it.